Beyond our butterfly diagram, there are many different advanced chart types that you could learn. And I'd like to give you a run through of just a number of them that you can check out, and we'll provide more context, but the idea is to just give you a glimpse of what's possible. So these are called stream graphs. And the idea behind them is that you release the bottom axes and let the data kind of flow through the chart. And while you don't see them often in the wild, they're very neat. They're a more advanced way of doing time series graphs. Another one is Marimekko charts. They're kind of crazy, and they're a mix of tree map and all this part-to-whole analysis and calculations, and we are not going to get into it, and I don't see them used very often. And they're much more useful when you unpack them into bar charts and column charts, and I'll provide a link to that in our notes here. So next up is Sankey diagrams. They show throughput. So the idea is you start with one state and then flow through to an end state. An example of that is perhaps like sticking water down your faucet. So if you took a big jug of water and just dumped it into the faucet, it would go through some pipes, then maybe go through some other pipes, and it would end up at some final state in maybe multiple locations or one, who knows. But the idea is that that throughput would be potentially diagrammed or could be diagrammed on a Sankey diagram because it has a beginning, kind of middle process and an end process. And that's what they're useful for. And then another one I like is candlestick charts. So what's cool about them is they have a lot packed into these little boxes here with kind of distributions at the end. And where you'll see them most often is in stock analysis. So in stocks you have kind of when the stock price opened and when it closed. And the bigger it is means it has a higher kind of threshold of when it started and when it closed. The smaller it is means that the distribution of the data is more tightly packed. So there's a lot of information in these little candlesticks, but they're a lot of fun. So they can be useful in specific contexts. Then lastly, we have our funnel charts. So funnel charts are like bar charts, but the idea is that there's some kind of fallout at each stage of the funnel chart. So you start out with a certain population, and in this kind of instance, it's about sales, right? So the idea is you propose a bunch of sales things to your audience, and you only end up closing a number of them. So at these various sales stages, there's fallout. Like a person didn't click on your advertisement, a person didn't follow up with your phone call. But finally, the number that you actually did close from the people that you reached out is the end state of that funnel chart.